have approved, that's all.
Well, again, we thought it fell under the umbrella of banquet hall events. I guess we can argue all day in terms of the semantics.
No.
But again, a simple phone call, I would have been in here, I'm retired, I could have been in here in 5 minutes from Daniel Drive, and we could have ironed this all out. A letter seemed awfully impersonal and awful thankless to the company that serves the city. That's all I'm saying, thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else wishing to speak on tonight's agenda or any city business, please step forward, state your name and address.
So you do up 123 Miller Street, North Tonawanda. During the first speaker portion, I did notice on the agenda earlier this afternoon about buying a pumper. Thank you. In 2002, January, we had a horrendous fire. Lumberjack Collet was on fire. And it was really a bad situation. We were concerned if the propane tanks were in there, and it was January, cold weather, really bad. We didn't have a pumper. NT got a pumper from town of Wheatfield. It looked like a Cadillac. I made a video of that presentation, and I thought we would have had much sooner than 2018, 18 years to get a pumper. But I'm glad we have one now. Regarding the prior speaker, I've heard the last year or two of in the community that the morale is down in the fire department because they're not receiving, in essence, support, just as he said. And I think that's shameful. These people put their lives.
Sonia, the morale of the fire department is not down, and the chief could very much come up here and debate that issue with you. I don't understand where you're assuming that the fire department morale is down.
I've heard that from inside, and they're leaving. As he said, membership's going down.
No, see, that's the,
This is not a debate, I'm just making comments.
I know, but we want to make sure that your comments are correct. You're talking about our fire department or our volunteer firefighters?
I think it's both.
Okay.
The thing is, we need to support police and fire. Just watch the TV to see what they're doing today. My point is, we need to come up in the needs and really show our appreciation to the people who serve, whether volunteer or paid firemen. It's such a basic element in governing is to have, because it affects safety, you know, your security of your property, your investment in your home. So I support what they're talking about. Let's show our appreciation. I came up specifically because in our City of North Tonawanda Brownfield Opportunity area that we have a document on, this was put out, the city's news, October 8th, and a summary version, I'll call it, and then October 22nd, the fuller version, excluding the appendices, which are so important. They explain further. I am, to put it mildly, I tell you, my blood pressure, 199 over 116, when I continue reading these documents, citizens have not participated, they've not been engaged. Even you yourself in the reporting here, it says you had a scoping, maybe it was a hearing, I think, and nobody showed up. You have not engaged people throughout this process. This process started in 2015, 2018 it came out, and because they've not been engaged, they've not been following it, then you ask them to make comments on it. This is very comprehensive and technical. People had less than 30 days. Then you also put out a speaker. I and another speaker last time said we need more time on this. This is almost criminal. It is so disrespectful, disregarding people's participation in plans that will impact their quality of life, their pocketbooks, their safety, their security.
You got that, Sonia.
I could go on and on, but you know what, when I read even the consultant, what he says in here, he is confirming what I've been saying for decades. You're doing a very poor job, and people should have more time on this. I cannot emphasize to you, I think when a person will one day sit down and read this, they'll be livid. Honestly, it's very disheartening. I just wonder even if any of you have read the documents. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Sonia.
Thank you.
Have any of you read it?
Yeah, I've gone through it, Sonia, and I am the newest member here, so I wasn't so involved with the, almost like a decade now process of the whole thing. And there are a lot of public outreach events throughout it, and, okay, so 10 years ago I was 16, right? I don't know how to read that thing, so there's a lot of catch up for some people, I understand that. 30 days, I know it's a hard span, but.
It's a joke. You know what? You have something that's been going a long time. You can tell that for what's here. It's been going on, but people have not been engaged. If you turn on the TV tonight at 11 o'clock, you will see City of Buffalo is going to be doing their master plan for the harbor canal. People are engaged, and they're coming back in spring. We do not do that here. That is a crime, in my opinion, because of the impact it has on people's lives.
Thank you.
And I really fault you on it. You really don't care about the citizens. It also says in here also, this is pro-developers. You want to ease their risks, but it hasn't even touched on neighborhoods where there's problems. But the downtown, yes, we love our former downtown. I don't think it's gonna come back. But you know what? There really isn't neighborhoods there. The neighborhoods are in the neighborhoods where there's some contaminated areas that should have been
Thank you,
addressed.
Sonia.
It wasn't included here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
A
you, Sonia.
crime. Thank you.
Anybody else wishing to speak on any city business, please step forward, state your name and address for the record.
Hello, everybody.
Hey, Mike.
Mike Koenig, 196 South Meadow Drive. I've been around for the last 58 years being a volunteer in fire police. And I just want to tell Sonia, since I've been around for the last 58 years, since Joey Sikora has been chief, any other chief in the city of North Tonawanda, there's been more than one new pumper in the city of North Tonawanda. It's not just happening now, there's been a few in the past.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mike.
Anybody else wishing to speak on any city business, please step forward, state your name and address for the record. Anybody else? Seeing that there's none, we'll move on to closing comments. Let's start with Austin Tyler, please.
Hello. So, I have a general question about how we process things that go on the agenda. I had submitted a letter to Dan Quinn about, just my perspective on how we go about the budget process, and we should be giving ample time between the budget hearing with the public and then when we actually vote on it. And Dan, correct me if I'm wrong, but you basically said this isn't an item that can go on the agenda, and my response was, well, it's more of a receive and file, something that can be documented.
It would have, also
As an opinion.
it would have to be voted on to be received.
So, but it can still be put on the agenda, and if anyone chose to deny my opinion,
I
Or perspective.
consulted again with the attorneys. and
Right.
felt
Well,
it wasn't-
so I consulted with, what is his name, Robert Freeman? Robert Freeman, the director of the New York State Department of State's Committee on Open Government, and he basically said, he quotes, "I don't understand how the clerk could have more legislative authority than a member of the legislative body." But as an board, I will not be censored. That's how I
You
feel,
can read it now.
right? But the point being is something that's documented is different. If anyone comes up and speaks for 5 minutes, that is not all gonna be there on the minutes. If I take the time, my time, to write something up and then put it on the agenda, I would expect that it would end up there. Nay or not, it should be on the agenda.
So you want your blog thoughts or something?
It's not a blog bot, it references pieces in the code, and then it just says my opinion, something to consider for the entire body.
It's your,
That's all it is.
so we're just gonna write think pieces to be received and filed.
Call it whatever you want,
Okay.
it's an opinion that can go on there and
Why
something for us
can't you
to talk
email,
about.
can't you email that to your fellow colleagues, and then we can look it over and let's discuss it in a workshop?
And what's the issue with filing it in a public setting?
It's not anything, it's not
So-
anything actionable, it's your.
It's your opinion.
So
thoughts.
then when we
I don't understand what it
take
is.
in recommendations from our board, our traffic board, how is that filed and received? I mean,
Why are recommendations filed and received from the traffic,
It just-
advisory boards?
I don't understand why it's such a headache to put one of the councilman's opinions on the agenda.
Because it's not an actual item, it's
No.
just your thoughts, I don't understand why it would be.
But municipalities do this, though.
I mean, you're welcome to
understand.
say
A
your
a resolution, that we consider it, I mean, do I have to put a resolution on
What,
every opinion
what
I
would
have?
your resolution say?
That we start
consider the
15 days of a
Because,
gap,
you know, I was-
to give council
you know,
people time
because
to adjust the
What
budget.
I really would like to see is you actually put forth a resolution instead of just throwing out ideas here and there. Why don't you put forth a resolution for the councils to undertake and look at?
You can
That's
have,
not a resolution, this is your,
so,
it's your thoughts, it's
so
not any.
I'll create a resolution.
That would be great, that would be the
and
first,
then-
that would be the first time you ever put something in writing. All you ever do is throw out thoughts and ideas and expect other people to put that in writing. Have you ever put something in writing
This is
to be voted on?
Dan, have I
There's
never
nothing to
submitted
vote on, it's
anything
not,
in writing?
it's your thoughts.
Is that what you're telling me?
I will submit my memoirs for the next meeting, for you
Okay,
to
great.
receive.
Great, this is a great way to react to someone just lying.
No, he's just trying to.
You're asking why isn't it,
So I'll send this out for Dan, to everyone, get opinions back, and then see how we wanna move forward. So just a general discussion, do we feel like we should have a longer span between the public hearing and when the actual vote takes?
so,
Well, I think-
okay, so the public hearing
I think
is
that's correct.
by state
Public
law,
hearing.
has to be within 30 days. It can then be left open for public hearing and comment period. So it has to be held for 30 days, that's the state law.
Yeah,
The council can then decide to leave it open for public comment and submissions. So, if you wanna leave it open, make that resolution, that's
Right.
something you can put in writing.
so that's what I'll do for
That
the
would-
following meeting.
Great,
Do we
good
all
idea.
agree that we should set a resolution that will give ample time between when we actually submit the budget, give people time to read it, have a public hearing?
I thought I read that.
But I believe that, that you're quoting a charter, basically, is what it
But-
says in the charter,
But-
that yes, we got the budget late this year. And I said that at the last meeting,
Sure.
and the budget hearing, that I agree, that I would like to have more ample time to look at it myself,
Mhm.
as a council member. But if you want to put it on the agenda for us to vote on, it's already there in the city code.
Right, so the
So
point being,
that's what I'm
right,
saying.
I understand what you're saying, but what I'm saying is, for example, if we're having a public hearing on the 15th, but also the deadline is on the 15th to vote on it, I want a gap between public comments, so we have time, not 24 hours, to make revisions based on those comments, that's
Well,
all I'm saying.
And that's what I said
So
at the
can we
budget
work on this
hearing,
together and submit
that's what I said
something?
at the budget hearing about that.
Right, that was after
So
I
if we
submitted
get-
this letter.
I
and-
didn't know,
right,
again, second letter,
Okay,
I did not know about.
so maybe I'll make sure that.
Okay.
Dan-
I did not know that you
Disperses
submitted
this.
that, so
Okay.
how would I know?
It was, I don't know. it was
You didn't
quite a
send it to me.
coincidence, right?
Send it to me.
So I think we should work on that, I'll write something up for Luke's review, and then we can talk about it.
Yeah, but I still see that, it sounds to me as that if we go according to the charter, we would have plenty of time to do what you're saying.
But we
And have those
did go
work.
by the charter.
Yeah, but we didn't have the budget on October first, and because we had a tough budget, see,
Sure.
whatever happened, it happened. And we had to have it done by the 15th.
Right.
So I had stated that at the last budget hearing. So I agree
Okay,
to an extent, but I don't agree that we would vote on your opinion per se. Because
So
it is in the
we
charter.
write up a resolution that requires us to give ample time to act on the public opinion, would that be something that we might look at?
Well,
Yeah, does that make sense?
Yeah, if you write it up,
Okay,
I
and
think
then
if
we'll
you-
modify and review it.
I think it needs to be written up in an actionable way.
It's
right.
fine.
To me, it just kind of looks like you're,
There's,
I think.
look at this, I got a header on it,
But they need a balance for
right,
council.
I need this stamp, I guess,
Yeah,
right? Is
if I
that
don't
it?
see it though, I can't help you with it.
Right, so, well, assuming, Dan just disperses these sort of things, but either way, so I'll write something, are we good? We friends still now, is that? Alright, that's friends. So, anyways, so moving forward, right, public opinion matters, of course. So, Bob's walking out right now, but, yep, that's right. And all the other volunteers, you know, I think this is just one of those communication things between different departments in the city, you know, it's citizens, civilians, volunteers, and, council people. Sorry about the miscommunication, but, hopefully we can move forward from there, because we are in a time when it's very difficult to get, especially my generation, volunteers involved, and we shouldn't be making it any harder for you guys to get members, so I appreciate, we all appreciate everything that the volunteers and the fire department does, so thank you for bringing it to our attention.
Thank you.
And have a good Thanksgiving, everyone, that was it.
Alderman Bob McGuire.
Thank you, Mr. President. I really want to say thank you to all the public servants in the audience today. We appreciate whether you're paid or volunteer. It's important to the city to move forward with that. The one thing that's near and dear to my heart is the Hub for Services. If Hub for Services is new to you, I'm sorry to hear that. We meet quarterly with 25 essential service providers and a major theme for our programs. In December, on the 19th, we're going to have it at Redeemer Lutheran Church, starting at 10 o'clock in the morning, and our emphasis is on weatherization. Everybody who comes to the Hub for Services is going to get a weatherization kit, and also that we're taking applications for our home energy program, the heat. So if you don't think you're available for HEAP, or you don't rise to the income level, I'd ask you to research, and I'll help you if you need it, because HEAP is a program that is essential for residents, and many will fall under that program, so I'd ask you to take a look at it if you need, and I'll provide it. Other than that, I want to say happy Thanksgiving to everybody. That's all I have, Mr. President.
Thank you, Bob. Alderman Mark Berube.
Yes, I would also like to reiterate, isn't the council's intention of doing away with fundraisers for volunteers? I mean, Brentwood, being in my specific district and stuff, I apologize for the miscommunication there. And, isn't our intent to shut anybody down or anything like that. And again, I'm also working with Bob on the heat project, so if anybody needs any information, they can also contact me. And I would just like to thank everybody, and I hope everybody has a happy Thanksgiving.
Alderwoman Donna Braun.
Thank you. Want to thank the volunteer fire companies. I think everyone up on this council appreciates all the work that they do in the city. I think several of us, I am a social member of Gratwick. I do help with fish rights when I can get down there. I just believe there's other members up here that are part of a volunteer company. So if there was a miscommunication, I certainly hope that we can move forward from that. I would also like to remind everybody that this Saturday is small businesses in our community, Webster Street, Oliver Street, and any other small business. It's an opportunity to shop locally, and I hope that everybody can visit our local merchants and support them, because it gives back to our community. And again, I wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving. Thank you.
Thank you, Donna. City Attorney Luke Brown. Dan Quinn, our City Clerk Treasurer.
No, I don't have anything.
Mayor Arthur Pappas, any closing comments?
Well, I just want to say, listening to this whole thing, that
My biggest disappointment is not with any of the departments. I do disagree with the idea that morale is down. I've never seen the morale higher on the parts of our police and fire, volunteers, auxiliaries. I've talked to several of them in all departments. I don't see the morale being down. Our departments are doing a fantastic job. The fire department is top-notch, the police department is top-notch, our volunteers are as passionate about their positions as can be. The morale is not down. That statement I just can't buy at all. I've talked to too many people in the community who have had to use these services, and I've heard nothing but praise for our police and fire departments, and so I can't buy that. My biggest disappointment is the fact that there seems to be a communication gap, and that seems to be the problem with so many things around us today, whether it's here in North Tonawanda or in the state or in the country. I think communication is a major problem. I've never seen so many forms of communication as we have today. You name it, it's out there. We have iPads, this pad, that pad, computers, cell phones, smartphones, you name it, it's out there. And yet I, in some ways, think communication is worse. I don't know why. The idea of a department, in this case, Gratwick, feeling that the city is trying to shut them down or to prohibit, that I don't think that's ever entered anybody's mind, is to limit anything they're doing. I think the idea is to just bring everything up to the way it's supposed to be done and use the process the way it's supposed to be used. And obviously, there's been a lack of communication in terms of just what the process is or how it should be administered. And I think that's the problem. It's not with the people, it's not with the attitudes, it's not with morale. There's a difference in interpretation, possibly, in what's expected. And in some cases, we're expecting some things that maybe haven't been expected for a few years. And I guess we're trying to hold everybody accountable so that we can be accountable to the taxpayers of the community. So things are tightening up a little bit, and in the process, as I mentioned before, it's kind of a transition, it's a little tough. But in that process, we've got to do our best to try not to shut people down or to relay the feeling that they're doing something wrong, and in their eyes, they think they're doing it right. So I think we all need to work on the communication thing, and whatever we can do through my office, I'll be more than happy to help, and I'm sure the council feels the same way. Communication is the key to so many things, and what took place tonight, I can understand both sides of the issue. I can see where people can be offended. I can see where people in the office trying to do their job as the code requires or whatever is trying to do their job. So it's up to us to straighten out the communication problem, and I think that's what we have to really work on. And that's, I know where I want to put emphasis. So on that note, I just want to, as everyone says, wish everyone a very happy Thanksgiving. And thank you for attending.
Thank you, Art. And finally, for what it's worth, and Bob knows, and maybe some of the Gratwick members know, I know a lot of the representatives of each of the fire companies, volunteers have met with me on 3 different occasions to discuss incentives, recruitment, and we've talked about various things. I don't think there's a conclusion yet drawn or a finality yet, but if we didn't care, we wouldn't be sitting down having these dialogues to find out how to retain your members and how to recruit new members and create an incentive for members to want to join each and every one of your halls. Bob reached out to me. I met with him and Kevin Kozlowski. Then we met 2 other times, with several members, maybe not every member from every, fire hall. I think that shows a good faith that we want to try to help, and we do want to look into incentivizing, getting people to join your ranks. We appreciate, I think that goes a long way to say we appreciate what you do day to day, year to year. Or else we wouldn't have sat down at that table and we wouldn't have this discussion. There's a lot of things, this isn't a new problem. This is something that we're still seeing in Pennsylvania and New York State. The numbers are down for recruitment and retention in these volunteer fire halls. So we need to have better communication, as the mayor said. But I think sitting down across the table and discussing it is a huge step forward where we haven't done that before. So, you know, in the heat of the moment here, we do have to realize that we have an open ear and we're listening and we're trying to help you. So there's no slamming here. It's a matter of following our protocol. Your cooperation is appreciated with these deadlines and these things that we need to know so that we can help you. So that we can, maybe you could have brought that up in one of our meetings that, you know, I forgot to put some of these down as part of our fundraisers that may not have been included on our report. But either way, you know, the olive branch is out there. We're willing to work with the police, the fire, the DPW. We sit down and we talk and we try to find out where the problems are and where the solutions are. We may not come to the fast decision where we have all the answers that quickly, but we can get there if we have your cooperation and the city's cooperation. So I just wanted to end that and say that everyone have a blessed Thanksgiving, and let's give thanks for each other. And like Art had said, communication in our community only helps us thrive. Thank you very much, and thank you for coming. Can I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll second.
A motion and a second, all in favor? Any opposed? Meeting was adjourned.